Happened in the 90s.
Matt was the fat kid, Steve was the black kid. Life wasn't always great, but you know what was? The 90s. Happened in the 90s. Yeah!
Once upon a time, there was a young dragon named Spyro. He journeyed across enchanting worlds to rescue other dragons from the spells of Nasty Mork. After battling Nasty and his minions, Spyro brought peace back to the land. Spyro mania swept the country, and everyone lived happily ever after. Not! That feisty lizard burned herds of a sheep! Cool! PlayStation.
Well, Matt, did you know that February 29th is National Rare Disease Day?
Oh, wow. Well, salute to all those people with crazy, wacky diseases, Steve.
Mesothelioma? Yeah. This is for you guys. This is your day.
You get a lawsuit and you get a day every once in a while. I don't know how many times is there a 29th day in February, Steve? What is it? Every
4 years. Yeah. See you guys in 2028.
If we're still here. Bang.
Shout out to my leprosy patients.
Yeah, like what constitutes a rare disease? Is it like Hodgkin? Is it like cancer, or is it just like wacky ones, like you said, like mesothelioma and stuff?
It can't be cancer. Cancer is like the magic. Well, damn, that's poor choice of it's like the Michael Jordan. Like that's not rare. Like you know,
everybody knows about that. There's enough aware. There's not enough, but
there's
that's hilarious though. They're like, you get a day every 4 years. Stop complaining.
There's Tay-Sachs disease. There's
Peyronie's. Isn't that where you have like a curved dick? I think it's called Peyronie's.
Are you serious?
I think so, dude.
Well, that should be on the list. Like Jericho, you just made the list.
Give them a day every 4 years. National Gout Day. Is that rare?
Cystic fibrosis.
Well, I had a rare disease, Steve. I think leukemia is rare, so I guess this is kind of in celebration of somebody like myself too. You know, I'm gonna count myself among those.
Well, there you go. Here's your day, man. Cheers. Mitochondrial disease.
That weird, what is it, where like your eyes bulge out? You know what I'm talking about? The bulging eye. I think it's called bulging eye disease.
Yeah, that used to get you an invite on Jenny Jones.
That sounds like an insult almost. Like if you just were like if you had that and somebody walked up and you're like, ugh, what do you got? Bulging eye disease? Like it just seems like, think of a scientific sounding name. Bulging eye disease.
Just looking like you're always scared. But we always talk about like moms, TV moms and dads, like the best ones. We never talk about uncles. I got a Mount Rushmore of my GOAT uncles.
Does Uncle Phil constitute an uncle or a dad, Steve?
He's a twofer. He's definitely on that list. He's like Hulk Hogan up here, man, getting inducted twice. So definitely Uncle Phil. We got a spot for you, James. Then, of course, Uncle Jesse.
Yeah.
He could be a twofer, but we don't give a fuck enough about Nikki and Alex. Y'all storylines, y'all mid-season babies. So, got them two out the way. Uncle Scrooge. Everybody want to dive into the pool of coins.
Dang, I forgot he was an uncle. You're right. You're right, dude. And he took 3 of them too as an uncle, dude. 3? Come on. Even if I'm rich. No wonder he was diving into money. That was so cool, Steve. Diving into a pool of money. I mean, fucking P. Diddy doesn't even do shit like that.
It'll just touch on your junk, man. Rolls Royces for all the each nephew waiting on you when you turn 16. That's a cool ass uncle. And fourth, I gotta go Uncle Fester. Shout out to the OG Fester, but because of our show, I gotta say Christopher Lloyd version. So
Yeah,
that's my
dude.
4.
I mean, I'm not even going to go against it because I'm even struggling to think of other uncles. Really, I said Uncle Phil, but you called them all. I'm sure like other uncles. Who are
Let's,
the other
let's
uncles? There are none.
well, honorable mention to Uncle Ted. Hey, Bobo.
Yeah, dude.
Honorable
Man,
mention.
that's tough. But he doesn't crack the top 4. I'm with you on that.
He's got a tough case, man. And then other honorable mention to, was it Uncle Jimbo from South
Uncle.
Park?
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I
Or
see
is it
that. Also, Peter Parker wasn't his uncle the guy who Uncle Ben, dude. He's a ledge. But that's movie. That's not really TV
That's,
unless you count the cartoon. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know how relevant he was in the cartoon.
He can't be because I don't remember it. I remember a lot of goodness, but I don't remember an Uncle Ben in that.
And then Uncle Fucker.
Suck my balls.
Dude. God damn. Well, shout out to the uncles, man. No creeps. Usually uncles I think are associated with creepness, and those guys are legends. So
Oh
good
man,
calls, dude.
Uncle Jesse came get them hoes away from him. Shit, he ain't got a creep.
Dude, imagine if Uncle Jesse was your own. See, that's when having a kind of like he'll hang with like younger crowd uncles, like one of those guys. That's when it pays off though. When Uncle Jesse's that guy and you're getting the fucking fall off of his trim, Steve. He's like, hey, hang out with my nephew. And it's just like Claudia Schiffer's like stand-in and stuff. I mean, good God bless. Does he have any nephews in real life? Is there anyone actually reaping the benefits of this?
That's a good question. Is he an only child? That Stamos?
I mean, dude, if there's more Stamoses and they're all like beautiful Greek people, I mean, that's one of those that's just tough. I'm not an ugly person, but I'm not handsome. And just like seeing like somebody that walks around like Stamos, just like, what's that feel like? Just that ultimate like, oh yeah, is there any stress in the man's life?
He doesn't have any bad angles. The thing with you, Matt, you know your strong points and you use them to your advantage, as you should. That's a part of the game. That's game 101. You know your strong points. You keep some hair under that lip, on that lip.
Yep. You don't want to
Yeah.
see this naked face. I appreciate that, Steve. Thanks for noticing. But yeah, I've always wondered that. Like I walk around anxiety ridden, happy, but sometimes I'm not the most confident. Uncle Jesse, a John Stamos, is there other than just like, I wonder what caviar I'm having tonight. Like, is it that stress or is there even any of that, Steve? I feel like it's just it's like he's walking on sunshine.
Never a bad day. Never a bad hair day.
Hell no.
This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy squealed when I smoked him like a greasy slab of sausage.
Go, Freddy! Join Sparkster to crush the swine army in Konami's Rocket Knight Adventures for Sega Genesis. Unleash your animal urges with the only possum to hang with. Pigs fly with a flash of his sword and he's rocket-powered.
I love the smell of bacon in the morning.
Play Possum on Rocket Knight Adventures from Konami.
Well, hey, boys and girls, this is Steve G and Mad G with Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about what happened in the 90s. So get out your Power Rangers and your vulgar display of power. Because Captain Planet, he's our hero, gonna take pollution down to zero. He's a powers magnified, and he's fighting on the planet side. Captain Planet, he's a hero, gonna take pollution down to zero. Gonna help him put us under bad guys who like to loot and plunder. You'll pay for this, Captain Planet.
Dude, you nailed that, Steve. You remembered all the words. I used to think that they were saying bad pull asunder. Like Captain Planet was literally like decapitating bad guys. Put asunder is also very cool though. Captain Planet though, you know what I don't like about him, Steve? After watching this, that I'm understanding, he only shows up at the end. He's like picking up garbage scraps, Steve. He doesn't have to do like the heavy lifting until right at the end. You know, it's kind of lazy. Just show up. Why do I gotta ring you to fucking show up, dude?
It's early 90s, man. He doesn't have mobile data. Like it's like, you know, internet connection. Like you need the Wi-Fi. Like you can't play your puzzle game, your favorite Angry Birds app
God
without
damn it,
getting that
Wheeler! You
connection.
fucking you smoked too much weed. You fucking forgot your ring. That's the whole, you know, like what happens in that situation? He's like, oh, dude, I forgot my ring. It's like, well, I guess this whole village is damned. We're dead.
Better
All
circle
right.
back.
But I'm just talking shit, Steve. I love Captain Planet. I love the Planeteers, and I love Gaia too. It's just looking. We've already talked about it. What a goddess.
Whoopi, man. OG, triple OG, she is. Well, today, my friend, we're talking about all things February 29th. In the 90s, brother. Starting off in 1992, Captain Planet is airing Season 2, Episode 20, A Twist of Fate. During an earthquake, a blow to Wheeler's head leaves him lost from the others and suffering from amnesia. He finds himself literally in the shoes of a homeless man and learns that the only difference between himself and them is a simple twist of fate. Wheeler regains his memory and returns to help the other Planeteers, called Captain Planet, to save the girl who saved his life.
Real heavy emphasis. I mean, show this shit now, Steve. This show is transcendent. We have
So
to
ahead
deal
of
with
time.
this now. I mean, yeah, but we should right off the bat, you know, Planeteers. They're out here planeteering. They got a heavy schedule, so they're kind of going out for a little vacay. Finally, just a little time off to decompress. And here's where I've never really liked Wheeler. Love the power. Guy's kind of a douche because he gets out of this plane and just like they land and he just like sprints away like I have to experience the city. Like, dude, we
Like,
got the bags, dude.
like immediately, like there's no like, all right, a check-in time, like, all right, we'll come back at like around 4. Like, no, like my piece, motherfuckers, I need to see this.
Bye. And like, so he's not helping with the bags. He's running. He's tripping over homeless people and like vagrants and stuff. Got a real shitty attitude. He's like, ugh, all these poor people, gross, dude. Don't touch me.
That's his attitude immediately. It doesn't take like a full hour of surveying the city. It's like, okay, then he realizes a bunch of brokies. Like, no, immediately as he gets out of the chopper, he's like, oh my God, everybody's unemployed.
Do you guys smell that? Fucking, he's a dick. And then some girl comes over and, you know, she's giving him the business. She's trying to sell him tickets, guide him around the city. She's being very friendly, but you know, I've lived in LA, Steve. These people selling tickets. I'm trying to like, yeah, great. I'm seeing through you, you know, I'm not even paying attention.
Yeah, look out for the cosplaying Marvel characters too.
Yeah, do not take a picture unless you give them money. You will get told. You will get fucking stolen.
Yeah.
But so he does like a little quick circle around, runs away from that chick too, who's being super friendly and like, you need a guide, but he's like, ugh, get away from me, brokey. Fucking Here of go take a shower, bitch. And then he gets to the copter and he's like, he gets back to his all the other Planeteers and he's like, guys, you know what, we might want to call this off because there's a lot of just broke people around. This place sucks, dude.
Yeah. This shit is so beneath us. Like, we're better than this, right, guys? And everyone's telling Wheeler, like, dude, you need to chill out, man. Like, you're feeling yourself a little too hard. Like, unless you're in people's shoes or have been in their shoes, you shouldn't judge people. It's just not a good look on you, Wheeler. Besides, we're comic book heroes.
We gotta love the poor. We're here to help the fucking less fortunate. But as he's being shitty, almost as if God himself were trying to punish him for these awful things he's saying, Earthquake hits, Steve. Disaster. It's I mean, it's I don't know what is it, the Richter scale? I don't know what we're coming in on this. 7, 8, 20.
They feel those tremors, man, and like there's a fire setting off, and so Water Girl, she sets off her water ring. Like, let me cancel this shit out. And then there's a guy named Paco. He's stuck up in some quagmire quicksand. And who's the brother with the earth? Kwame.
Yeah.
Kwame. He was like, Earth, all right, come get you out of that shit. And so Paco's like, man, thank you. You like, I almost died into the ground. Like that shit weird. I ain't never seen no shit like that. By the way, they're in North Teresa. I don't know if that's fictional, if that's a real place.
I don't know, Steve. I'm not a I'm not a geographist. I don't know. I'm an idiot. But Paco, they got nothing left, man. The whole family's the city's fucked, or this little village is fucked. His house is fucked, so they're packing up. And basically, like what they're saying is like, you know what? We always wanted to go to the city. This like it's beautiful. There's opportunity there. There's money there. There's great houses there. You know, we got nothing here. We're broke as shit. So let's move to the city. This is our opportunity. So, you know, I think that this is actually crazily accurate to now. I hate to get super serious, but I did watch a documentary. Shout out to that Channel 5 YouTube channel with that Andrew Callahan dude.
That's great, by the way.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a real journalist. But he interviewed a lot of people that were crossing the border illegally. And this was the exact thing that they said. Like, we don't have shit where we're from. It's dangerous. There's no opportunity there. We're going to go to America. And that's where the money, all those big houses, all the great paying jobs, that's why we're going to America. And they don't know what the reality is. You know, I think it's like a rose colored glasses thing, but that's what Paco's saying. That's the plan. And also, aside to this, while that earthquake's going on, Steve, all the other Planeteers helping out, Wheeler has like a wall collapse on him. He's knocked out unconscious. Isn't that what happened? Doesn't Paco find him?
Yeah, he gets bonked upside the head because Paco, he's heading to the big city, sold on that American dream. And Kwame, he even like warns him, basically what you said, like, hey man, all things that glitter ain't gold in the big city, man. I'm just letting you know now. You think you're gonna get a job, but hey, it's not guaranteed. And Paco's just like, oh yeah, man, I got a plan, man. Me and my buddy's just gonna hang outside at Home Depot. So on their way to the big city, they come across Wheeler. He's passed out, got bonked on the head. They're like, you know what? Let's take this stranger Ginger along with us. And so they're nursing him back to life. And he wakes up. He's so jacked up, he can't even remember his name. They take him to the hospital. Yeah. They take him to the hospital, and the nurse asks him, do you have any insurance? And he's like, what's insurance? How? I don't know. What, like,
God, another poor person over here.
And that's fucked up. The nurse is like, yeah, another charity case. Bitch, you should be fired. Who says that?
She's been working 12 hours, Steve. It's a long shift. She's like, another one of these? Send him over to the loony bin. Get him over there. And Paco's like, hey, man, we're dropping you off, so we got to go. We're off to the big city. So he's just out here, Steve. He's what's that movie, 12 Monkeys? He doesn't know what's going on. Where's he at? He's in a foreign place, for God's sake.
Wheeler's and he just starts breaking down crying. You soft, Wheeler. And I'm not saying it's not okay for men to cry, but like immediately as they leave him, he sits down and just like, no, keep that same energy from all that shit you were talking earlier. But like Monty, he tries to locate Wheeler, and he can tell that he's surrounded by pain and sickness. So I hate to keep calling her Water Girl, but Water Girl.
Linka. No, wait, that's not Linka. What's the other? I don't know.
Yeah,
fuck it.
Linka's
the Russian bitch.
Yeah. So like she puts two and two together, like, oh, the hospital. So they go to the hospital, and by this time, Wheeler is getting chased down by the doctors trying to put a straitjacket on him. And he says something like, I don't wear white jackets. A bit too straight, if you ask me. Like, all right, I don't know.
Yeah, because basically when Mati tries to reach out to him with the power of the ring that he has, Wheeler thinks he's hearing like voices, but he's like, "Oh God, not again!" So I mean, that would be terrifying, Steve. But Wheeler's a douchebag, as we've already established. So he runs out. He escapes. There's no security at this loony bin. And he's off into the streets, Steve. The streets of Saint Teresa.
Saint Teresa or Teresa. And you know, now that he's back into the streets, he runs back into Teresa. You know, just ironically named Teresa. And she's like, Wheeler, hey, it's me again. Oh, I know you don't want to talk to me because I stink, but I'm here. And he's just like, what did you just call me? Wheeler.
You're the guy that spit on me earlier, that said I was dirty trash. Remember me?
I do know I'm hungry. That's a word, right? I'm that. So let's get some food. And she asks him, you got any money? She's like, no, I'm broke, just like you. So they go to the apple cart. I think it's an apple. Maybe some kind of fruit. Delicious.
Yeah. She's showing him the ropes, Steve. He's got to learn the ways of the homeless now. So she sets a diversion. They steal some fruit. And as Wheeler's getting his street education, and I do have a question for you after I say this. The Planeteers are tracking him down like slowly because Monty can sort of like be like, well, he's here now. I think he's connecting a little bit. So they're on the case. But here's my question to you, Steve. So I get bonked on the head. I'm Planeteering, a wall falls on me. When you get amnesia, and I guess this is probably case to case, you're not a doctor, I don't know, but just running this past you. You don't remember who you are. So that's gone. But you remember your line, like I would remember how to speak in English.
Yeah.
So I remember words.
I was thinking about that too. Like, how do you know you're hungry? How do you know what to call that word, that feeling?
And here, feel like that's what I'm saying. Like, how far back does the amnesia go? Is it just your identity, or is it your language? This seems weird. That's another conversation. We'll call a doctor.
It's a very common sitcom arc in the 90s. Like
it's convenient.
All of our favorite episodes or sitcoms have had that one episode where one main character just can't remember who they are. But something I went over, man. She shows him the ropes on how to be homeless 101. And like they were feasting out of a garbage can, just looking for some scraps, looking for some apple cores.
So he's like, I don't remember shit, but that's nasty.
Yeah, I know I'm new to this broke shit, but like, nah. As of now, this is still beneath me. So she was like, all right, let's get our hustle on. So they start wiping down windows stuck at the traffic light. And Teresa, she's a pro at this. She knows what she's doing, leaving all the windshield spotless. Now, Wheeler, on the other hand, he's leaving smudges and he's getting no tips. The guy just pulls off on him like, man, get the fuck away from me.
He slaps him and he's like, damn, all you do is smoke the shit.
And she was like, Wheeler, you just haven't been broke long enough. I'm going to show you how to get this money, though. All right. And so while she's talking to him, she gets pulled off to the side by a gang. And they take her for her scratch. Like, cough it up.
In the tussle, Wheeler somehow, even though he's, I guess if you say fire, that shit comes out of the ring. So he inadvertently activates the ring, uses fire, gets the fucking street toughs. Like, I'd be freaked out too. Like, this guy summoned fire, guys. We're dealing with witchcraft. Let's get the fuck out of here. So they're out. But that use of the ring, Steve, Monty, the heart kid, he can feel that. So he's like, oh, they're zeroing in on where Wheeler's at.
That's why he's the best. He got heart. And so also Teresa, she sees this and she sees a gold mine. She was like, we know how to get food now. That's what you just did right there. Why don't you just like let's see if we can pawn this for some scratch.
That's what I love, dude. This chick smokes crack. Teresa's on crack. See, she's like, oh, you got a ring? Man, that's at least 20 cents.
And then shoot fire? Shit. We get all the pesos in this motherfucker. Hey, go to this little Apple stand and show it to the guy. Tell him you'll trade it in for the whole shack, for the whole everything, all the apples. And so he tries that, and he's just like, man, go away with that Cracker Jack shit. Anywho, so Teresa just boom gangs, takes a couple apples, like, all right, bye. They make it back, and he's trying to do the whole virtue signaling, like, oh, we shouldn't be stealing. I have a reputation. I was like, all right, well, shit, I'm gonna eat both of them then if you feel that way. They get trapped by fire. Like while they're feasting on those free 99 apples, a fire sets off. And so like now Teresa's trapped in the fire. Luckily for Wheeler, he was able to get away, but he doesn't want to leave her stranded. So he flees for help. And he runs into some of the same people he just encountered, and some of them being the guys from that gang. And he's like, "Help, my friend! She's stuck. Like she saved my life, and now I have to save her." And they're like, "You're a ginger. We don't believe you.
Yeah.
You're a bad person. Didn't you just
Firebug.
you set a car on fire? Boo!" So they start pelting him with bricks and stones, and he flees out of there like Barry Sanders. God damn it! And then by the time he sees Paco, he's just catching these pelts to the head.
That's what it was.
Because Paco's just like, maybe amigo, you should start wearing helmets.
Dude, what'd you do to these people? That's also like he's getting bricks pelted at him. Like I'd be like, what'd you do, bro?
Like, they're trying to kill you.
And Paco and his wife, and I'm assuming the kids that they have, generous people. They literally give Wheeler shoes, if I'm not mistaken. These people are great, and they have no money. They're living in a shanty. And as she gets shoes, this like sets off like a Manchurian Candidate memory in Wheeler's head, where I think somebody said something about, I think Gaia said something about, walking in shoes, and he's like, and he suddenly remembers who he is, Steve. This brings back his memory. He's like, oh shit, I'm a Planeteer, and I left Teresa in the lurch. I just walked away from that.
Yeah, well, earlier in the episode when he was being a dick, he like stumbles over a homeless guy on the park bench, and he was just like, when he gets back, he's like, man, I'll never be in a homeless man's shoes, and that's what Gaia said. And it's like, Gaia, if you saw that,
why does this guy got a ring, man?
Yeah.
Why does this Trump guy have a ring? It's just like some guy like, this fucking trash. These fucking people suck. Hey, does anybody want to go to let's go to a barcade or something over across town? This place sucks, dude. There's people with no money. This guy had fucking shit on his shoes. He didn't even have shoes. I tripped over his gross foot. And they're like, Jesus, Wheeler.
But like now that he's back with Paco and Luisa, they try to help the girl, and Wheeler, he finally connects with the crew, and he tells them like, hey, we got to save this girl. She saved my life. Plus she been looking at me like she kind of want to give me some. So like we need to chop. Yeah, because I ain't never had that before.
I'm a redhead. I'm lucky if I can even, my hand will accept me. Also, I do want to point out that maybe we pointed this out, I forget, but this place is so This place is so polluted, Steve, that all of the powers that these other Planeteers have, like Earth, water, don't work because the shit's all fucked up. So Wheeler, he's the only useful one anyway, and even his powers, they can't do anything. So I think this is when they actually summon Captain Planet, if I'm not mistaken. They
finally summoned CP. Yeah, man. And I don't know if this was a common thing, but like on this episode, he is just dropping one-liners left and right. She's in a real hot spot. And then he clears the air with her. And now to see about this fire, I'll have to be this city's main man. I see what you did, CP.
Dude, that's sick, though. That's like Phil Lamar level freestyling in an action scene, Steve.
But did you catch this one, Matthew? The shower is yours. You are killed. Is that Rodney Dangerfield or is that Captain Planet?
I gotta say, though, here's how this is an insane way to save it, and a very also he reinvigorates the whole area by saving it. So there's a fire. He uses himself as a drill to drill down to water in the earth, right? So creating a water main. The water comes spouting out. What am I to do with this water after I put the fire out? Which he does, saving the place. He gets this cool statue from the rich area, brings that over, and I don't know the science, Steve, but plops it down and immediately, without doing any sort of like installation of any lines, it becomes a fountain in and of itself. And it makes this favela the new hotspot. There's going to be art people. There's going to be a couple lesbian chicks just opening up like a coffee shop here soon. There's going to be a lot of gentrification going on very shortly.
But before he leaves, he runs into one of the punk thugs, and he's trying to give Captain Planet shit. And Captain Planet just goes like flame style, and he's like, he can't hold a candle to me. Just one more innuendo before I go. And that was enough to run him off.
Hey guys, we got to write some more material for next week. He has writers, Steve. This is his open mic, you know?
Hey, he kills it, man. And he saves the day. So he's here now, Matthew. Did he make up for it? Or are you still mad at him?
He did. And also, like, I kind of forgot the aspect that he, not only the Spider-Man, like, one-liner quips, which I love, but the just straight Robin Hood-esque saving the day with the statue from the rich area, plopping it down in this area, and combo move saving them from the fire and creating a water fountain. It's magic, you know. So I apologize, Captain Planet, but I do think, you know, Gaia, maybe one of the smarter Planeteers, maybe you figure out like an emergency button where it just sort of automatically calls them, and you can just, like, you know, if somebody's out sick, somebody wants to go on a little vacay, and you're one man short or two people short. There's just got to be a way to get this guy involved before a woman's about to suffocate and die in a fire in a favela, you know? It's got to be.
Red telephone? Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be a bat phone in this situation. I mean, Gaia, you're a goddess. You can't just, like, goddess this shit. Like, where do the powers stop?
But I mean, Paco, I can't forget about Paco and Luisa. They decided to pack things up and head back to the village. And, you know, the concern now is like, but what about sweet Teresa? The streets ain't for her. Somebody come save her. And they were like, you know what, Luisa, we don't even know you. We just met you like 2 seconds ago, but you could come stay with me and my wife, and we'll never invite you to be a third in bed. Promise.
Never, ever. And also, I mean, this is insane, Stephen. Maybe this is something to Paco where you need to sort of like wait and save your money a little bit, but I'll get to that. So Teresa indicated somewhere previously that she did actually want to be a doctor and want to go to medical school, but that just didn't pan out, right? So she is kind of has like that in her. She just never got the education. So Paco and his family, as they're going back to the village, they're like, Teresa, one reason you can't come back with us, other than possible three-way, you know, that's never going to happen, but just throwing it out there. But we're going to let you be the village doctor in our village. We got to rebuild. We need a doctor. That was one of the things we didn't have back in the day, and we need you. So you can come back. No pressure on sleeping in the same bed with me and my wife, but one little tasty treat on top, we're going to throw you into medical school as soon as we get some money. You're going to medical school, and you're going to get dicked down in the village as soon as we rebuild that bed.
That's off the record. And Luisa, she starts assigning other people jobs. Like, yeah, we need an engineer, and we need a mechanic, and we need a BBL surgeon. We need all these other things. You be a dentist. You look like you have that in your future.
I need somebody that we need a barista. We need somebody that can cook a little bit, you know, like Italian. We need those options. They're like, we got to rebuild first. The Chick-fil-A will come later, okay?
It takes a village, man. and we get two special messages at the end. One is don't judge people, especially if you've never been in their shoes. We're talking to you, Perrysburg alumni. It always bothered me when someone from Perrysburg would say something as ghetto. Oh, that's so. Shut up. Fuck, get that out your
I
vocabulary.
love how loose that word is too. It's like ghetto is like means so many insulting things. It's just like it's ghetto.
So ghetto. Shut the fuck up. Like you know about that. And the Planeteer alert is about fighting and how dumb it is. Captain Planet says fighting isn't about being tough, it's about being dumb. Why fight when you can be friends?
Make a friend instead. Yeah, I like that.
I do too.
But I also the first one, I've never thought of this. Like donating your clothing to charity is a form of recycling, Steve. So you're doubling up on that message: recycling, giving to the poor people, and we get an anti-fighting message, which also shows like war too. I love the animation. It's like showing tanks and war, and then like kids bullying and stuff. It's hard hitting stuff.
They try to cover a lot of ground. And I subscribe to that even as a kid without knowing it, man. It's like, why fight them back for talking about my ears? Why don't you use comedy and win them over? And I had my own Planeteers in my head, like by the power of Martin, Sanford and Son, Fresh Prince, Saturday Night Live, and In Living Color will be funny.
And you were, Steve. It worked. So
it worked.
You weren't fighting people. You were making me laugh.
And here we are. But also in 1992, WCW is airing the pay-per-view Super Brawl 2 at the Milwaukee Auditorium in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Best friends, now bitter rivals, brawl for it all.
Dude, just the title of the event, Super Brawl, just sounds badass.
I wonder whose brainchild that was. Was it Dusty Rhodes, baby? Because I was the head book around then.
I don't know, baby. Super Brawl. It was like, you're a genius.
Super Brawl. Super Brawl, baby.
Super Bowl. Super Brawl? Like, oh my God.
Put on a Super Brawl on them big ass titties, baby. And shout out. and shout out to the early 90s graphics and music. Like obviously we both love nostalgia, and like just seeing this introduction, it's very Bayside high. It takes you back. And
I do also just have to point out that like this, we've been covering a lot of like Attitude Era and like later WCW. This is the era where it's like, it's squeaky clean wrestling, It's not, there's no like titties and ass coming out and like that blood everywhere. It's just good old fashioned wrestling, Steve. And it's actually, to be honest with you, a lot of this, I was like, this is going to suck because it's so old, but it doesn't. This is fucking good.
It really is good in its own right, man. And speaking of the Attitude Era, we're years removed from that, but it's interesting to see some of the key figures of the Attitude Era in a different version of themselves, man. We get a stunning Steve Austin, we get a flying Brian Pillman, we get a Vinny Vegas. So key figures in each part, and even our guy Rick Rude, even though he wasn't wrestling in the Attitude Era, he played an important part, man. When he crossed the line. On the same night, same Monday night, he was on Nitro and he was on Raw, and that was like a chapter in the Attitude Era, man.
Cut the music. Yeah, dude. Also, just like the announce teams and some of the people we see in like on the other side, it's just like the combinations, and like even one of the guys that was an announcer, we'll get to it, is like we see an announcer wrestle, and I was like ready to really write that off, like fast forward, and I'm glad I didn't. We'll get to it.
And we have different sets of commentary, I guess. For the presenters, we have Tony Schiavone, longtime WCW guy, and Eric Bischoff, who is just killing the game. Like he really, and I'm comfortable enough in my sexuality to say, like, man, he's Uncle Jesse level. This version,
yeah, dude. He just looks like he looks like I mean, this is with all due respect, he looks like a game show host. Like he has like a tux on. He's like well coiffed. He's looking just svelte and young. Like we know Eric Bischoff through the years, but yeah, dude, he's the face.
I mean, they even joked about calling him Ken Doll in the NWO days, man. Like I guarantee you, him, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and throw in Hollywood just because every town they went to, they leaving home with some puss. They going home with some.
You kidding me, dude?
Oh my.
That's like every height of a chick. Like he got the hot short chicks that couldn't deal with Kevin Nash crushing them to death. See, he took those. He was like the small guy on the team. They had the two brawlers. He's the guy that's going to talk you into the puss first. He's like, hey, ladies, my boys Scott and Kevin over there thought you looked really hot. And he's like, eases you into it.
It's like good cop, bad cop. And then the other commentators are Jim Ross and Jesse Ventura. They're going to be on the 1s and 2s for all the matches. Jesse, he comes down in a Harley and he's loud on the mic that matches his wardrobe per usual. And there's some foreshadowing on here when he says to JR, what if you had a cowboy hat on and you have the same initials as JR Ewing? Maybe we should just call you JR. It's like, whoa, man.
That's what I was going to say. Did he create this look?
Yeah.
That's the signature JR look.
Yeah.
And I do have to point out, and this may just be me creating something, but that fringe leather jacket that Jesse the Bodies are wearing, the white or whatever color it is, I'm almost 100% that he still wears that to this day, Steve. He might have worn that when he got sworn in as the governor of Minnesota. I feel like he wore that.
And that tie-dye. And our introduction match is Brian Pillman, Flying Brian, versus Jushin Liger for the WCW Light Heavyweight Championship. Jushin Liger, he's a pioneer, man. By a lot of accounts, he's considered one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, man. A legend in his own right.
The mask looks, I don't know how people with that level of mask wrestle.
Same.
It's crazy. But yeah, he was like a name that I remember hearing his name a lot. Here's my also question to you as a wrestling expert. There's luchadors and lucha libre in Mexico that utilize masks in this look. And then there's like the Asian wrestlers, Japanese wrestlers, like Ultimo Dragon that also wear these like crazy masks and stuff. And they kind of look similar in ways. Maybe it's just because you're wearing a mask. But who did that first, Steve?
I'm not 100% sure, but if I had to bet, I would say the Lucha Libre because it's so important to their characters to where it's like a sense of pride. And I know a lot of those Lucha Libre matches, if like the loser has to take off their mask and it's like their soul is shattered when that happens. That might happen in New Japan. I'm just not as familiar with them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm used to the guys over here in North America.
But he's a beast. And speaking of outfits, Steve, this is the Flying Brian that I remember as a kid with the luscious mullet, the tiger striped undies. He's from Cincinnati. I think he's a former Bengal, didn't they say?
Former Bengal, former Bearcat. Yeah. And I love that, man.
Yeah, dude. He's an Ohio boy. And great match. One thing I thought was funny, because it's just maybe this is like a bygone like thing that happened in matches, but there's a bunch of instances in this where they like double drop kick each other. Like they drop kick at the same time and it like hurts them. And I just thought that was hilarious. It's just like, it's like when Rocky and Apollo punch each other, but it's drop kicks, you know?
They did that a couple of times. And at one point they did double headbutts, like flying headbutts. And that shit looked like their head shattered, man. But this is actually the best match of the card. You know, that's bad pacing on WCW. You don't really want your opening match to be the best, but I guess they didn't plan it that way. Flying Brian, he's the new champ. He gets a schoolboy roll up, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, how did he win? Was it a crossbody?
He uses like a cradle move because the Jushin Thunder Liger like misses a headbutt and then he like he cradles him and wins. And you know, we love a Flying Brian. He's the light heavyweight champion, I believe now.
Yeah, now he is. And another future Attitude Era character, Marcus Alexander Bagwell versus Terrence Taylor, Red Rooster, if you're nasty. And, you know, tailor-made man. This man is unfortunate with these gimmicks. The tailor-made man looking like Temu $1 Million Man out there.
Yeah, dude, did he steal the outfit? He stole his outfit and just like took the dollar sign off, Steve.
So you caught that.
Yeah, it was like he
Thank
stole
you.
$1 Million Man's outfit. It's the legit same exact. Maybe he went to a costume shop. I don't know, but tailor made man. I mean, this guy, he just looks like a fucking porn director. And Marcus Bagwell looks like a buff ass Elvis impersonator with like that crazy coif hair that he's got, the Gambino hair.
Yeah.
Dude's
These guys
big as
haven't
fuck
figured.
though. He is fucking roided the fuck up.
Oh my God, yes, man. And we can't leave out Barry Abrams, who won a contest from Syracuse University, and he's got on his tuxedo suit with some Syracuse shorts, just to remind people, yeah, Jim Boeheim, that's our coach.
I won a contest.
Oh.
I do. I don't know if you clocked this, but one thing I found out through the announcing, uh, and this is just a funny little fact. We were Yellow Jackets. Our high school mascot is the Yellow Jacket. And while Buff Bagwell is not from where we're from, his high school mascot was a Yellow Jacket, Steve. So we share that. That's something, if we see him, we'll vibe up with him on that. You're like, we're both Yellow Jackets, son.
Yeah, I bet theirs were cooler though.
Yeah,
Fuck
clearly.
Perrysburg forever. But this match is under 10 minutes. It's only about 7. And Bagwell, Marcus, he wins with the schoolboy roll up.
It's a sloppy fucking match too. There's just a lot of, like, I think because Bagwell's so new. I think they said he's like a rookie or something, like, at this point. Like, this is his first year in the WCW, but he's jumping, he's missing moves. It just looks fucking sloppy as shit, but he does win. And I'll see you soon, Buff, when you got that top hat and that attitude and you're coming out with fucking Scott Norton, vicious and delicious.
He was good enough to beat the tailor made man. But back in the dressing room, Missy Hyatt, she's outside of Luger's room, and she's trying to get some interviews going, man. And Harley Race, he stops her in her tracks with that damn poodle perm. Yeah, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing, Toots?
You can only come in here if you suck something, baby. Harley Race looks like a pit boss at like in a Reno casino. He's shot a man, I think. Definitely. He's killed a man.
He's considered one of the toughest, man.
Who is Missy Hyatt? Because Missy Hyatt, take a walk, lady.
Missy Hyatt, she was a hottie, and she was on air talent. I think she served as a manager sometimes. She was kind of like the Sunny for that federation. Sometimes she's doing interviews, sometimes she's managing. But our next match is Ron Simmons, pre Farouk versus Cactus Jack / Mankind / Dude Love. Mick Foley.
Yeah, and Ron Simmons coming out. This isn't the Ron Simmons from Nation of Domination. He's got like a Static Shock outfit on. He's got like some kind of Breaking 2 outfit.
Yeah, and his interest music is very 80s movie score. Like, is this a John Hughes movie? Oh no, it's Ron Simmons.
Hey, Ron. And when Cactus Jack comes out, there's weird organ music of just Cactus Jack, but there's a point in this match where he like goes over the ropes and like gets hung, like his neck gets caught like tangled in ropes. And I don't know if that happened like on purpose, but it looked gnarly, dude. Like it looked insane.
That was his thing, man, and that's why he's missing the ear. Because, like, it's just like Ric Flair doing the corner flop. Like,
Yeah.
that's always a part of his matches. This was a part of his thing. Like, this was in his bag, and like, I think it was the match he had with Vader overseas is where like he like lost. He's on some like Vincent Van Gogh shit, bro.
Well, that's crazy because it's like I was like, man, that looked like an accident because fucking Ron Simmons is in there like trying to get him on. It looked real. So shout out to fucking Mick Foley for being psychotic. Um, Great match. I thought it was fun. There was some fun little
Wasn't
things
bad.
in here. But near the end of the match, Cactus Jack like climbs up on one of like the top rope, tries to do some kind of move, and Ron Simmons just fucking power bombs him or like power slams him, and he wins. Um, and then Abdullah the Butcher comes out with some flapjackery, Steve. He put a
Oh
shirt
man,
on that or put a bra on that, Abdullah, for God's
he
sake.
put Dusty to shame, man. And he's come here to sabotage Ron Simmons. But oh no, is that JYD in the crowd? Is he on his way to prom? Oh no, he's here to deliver headbutts because God knows why he's wearing this tuxedo.
It's only, I don't know if you noticed this, but I think it's only the jacket and shirt, Steve, because I think he just has blue
Yeah.
jeans on.
Yeah.
And now, if you see what I see behind Steve, he looks like a Chippendales dancer
Yeah.
at
But
Costco.
he's dropping off them headbutts, man. And that clears the crowd. People just love to see JYD, man, because like we've talked about the Legion of Doom pop in the 80s. Like JYD was a superstar in the 80s, man.
I gotta even say, like here, I don't know how old he is, but dude's still Jack City in this. Like he's not looking like an old man. He doesn't have like Ric Flair chest or anything. He looks. I'd be like, guys, I'll wear the jacket, but I'm not wearing this cummerbund and fucking. Do I gotta come out looking like I just fucking the dollars are fucking stuffed down my pants? This is crazy.
I like how Jim Ross says it's like fighting in the hood. Like once again, what do you know about that, Jim Ross?
Dude, it's fucking JYD, dude. Fucking Jim Ross is from the hood. How do you even question that, Steve?
The mean streets of Oklahoma. Yeah. The next match is Richard Hamilton and our guy Vinny Vegas, aka Diesel Train, or Diesel Truck. I don't know, Diesel Train. Yeah, another porn title. Versus Van Hammer and Z-Man.
Tom Zank rocking the fucking pink fucking tighties. I forgot about Van Hammer. I saw him like here,
As you should.
but he was around for a while. I feel like,
Yeah.
like into the
And did
NWO
nothing.
days, right?
Yeah, and did nothing. I don't think a title was had. A title match was had. Like
Yeah, he's just playing. He's just fucking shredding in the backs. He's just happy to be there. But Vinny Vegas, I love Kevin Nash, Steve, and even this Kevin Nash looking cool as shit. I gotta say, but Richard Morton or whatever you said his name is, I think it's Richard Morton. This
yeah,
guy,
I mean,
he looks like fucking Joe Dirt if he was like taking ecstasy. Steve, it doesn't look right. I don't get it.
him and his partner did hold on to that mullet too long because he's one half of the Rock and Roll Express. And yeah, man, he's usually Ricky Morton, but I guess for this pairing, he's Richard. And something else that caught me, Jesse is commenting on wardrobe, and of all people, dude, you need to be last in line to even speak on how someone dresses, Jesse. How dare you?
You trying to tell me you don't like this fringe jacket I got from the stop, the fucking interstate stop in Arizona?
Terrible.
Yeah. But I actually was like thinking Richard Morton, like this guy's a joke. I understand he's in Rock and Roll Express and whatnot, but dude's fucking he's going in here, Steve. This match isn't that bad. I mean, Van Hammer's a joke or what. He looks like he has hot dog skin, but we get Vinny Vegas. We get fucking goddamn. Yeah, this is a good look for Kevin Nash, but the only thing I would say is like, and I always thought this with IRS, just wearing like business attire and having to wrestle, it looks uncomfortable.
Yeah, it looks tiring.
Yeah.
Like just being in it is uncomfortable. Like, man, walking like lobby floors and dress shoes and shit for like
God, I
15,
hate that.
20, like, oh.
But I like Kevin Nash in this because he's big as fuck. He always has been. He looks big as fuck here, like he wider, but he just gets his ass kicked, and he's always like, "Bring it on, motherfucker." He's just there, but he's killing it. I mean, he's like fucking one man gang in these guys for a while, and just like doing crazy like gut wrench suplexes and stuff. It's fucking Kevin Nash, dude.
All while looking like a Streets of Rage boss, man. The one thing Z-Man does have in his offense, he hit this flying splash to the apron, which I thought was pretty cool for early 90s standards, and another flip or roll up victory because Z-Man, he gets a pin with the sunset flip.
Even though Kevin Nash and Richie Morton, they kind of dominated, honestly. But like you said, I love his name Z-Man.
Z-Man.
That's the
Tom
guy.
Zink.
It's the guy you buy ecstasy off of. Hey Z-Man, let me get a couple of tabs.
Or some Z-Packs. You got a flu? Um, in our next match, we got pre-Stone Cold, Stunning Steve Austin, and Larry Zbyszko with Medusa versus Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes, baby. Goldust.
And I was ready to write this off. I was like, Larry Zbyszko's wrestling, but Larry Zbyszko's looking fucking very Arn Anderson-esque. He looks like an older guy that can whip the shit out of you. But we do see before the match, I don't know, like they perpetrated this. Like him and Steve Austin just ran up on Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes in a car. And I think Zbyszko crushed Barry Windham's hand in the car. So now they're calling him the Cruncher, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, in that video, it was Arn Anderson with Zbyszko because like something that's not talked about on this show is the Dangerous Alliance, which that's a stable I think you would really like, man, because it was headed by Paul Lee Dangerously, and it had Arn Anderson, Rick Rude, Steve Austin. It had Larry Zbyszko and Medusa. She was like the valet. So I thought that was a pretty cool. Didn't last long enough, man.
Well, Zbyszko comes out in his tighty whities and Stunning Steve, thank God he shaved the head because he looks insane with this hair. But he's weird. Killing it. He's still I like how sometimes like when you do see like wrestlers like that before they got famous, you could still see some of their like signature move sets and like how they would do things way back, like how he delivers like a clothesline and stuff.
The jump on the back when they're on the second rope, that move, like they've been practicing doing their reps for years, man.
And Zbyszko usually, I guess, he was a wrestler and clearly he was still wrestling here, but dude even is throwing out like karate kicks and shit in this match. Like he's throwing out some like signature moves and I was like, damn, Zbyszko, I didn't know the living legend had that level of athleticism in him.
They gave him that name for a reason, man. And Barry Windham, he was in there most of the time by himself, man, while his partner was like either stranded or just out for lunch. But eventually he hits a diving lariat on the Zbyszko and his team gets the win.
And this was like a match I was like, this is gonna suck. I only am here for Stunning Steve Austin, but this is actually a good match. I think all these, like, if you saw them on paper, like, I don't know some of these names or whatever, but I didn't think any of these matches were like technically bad, Steve. Some of them are cheesy, and like that Buff Bagwell one was kind of fugazi, but
could have done without that. Yeah.
But the next match is Arn Anderson and beautiful Bobby Eaton. Parentheses. You see, dude, you fucked with my head because that's how I hear it now. That and beautiful tasting pussy. Like those two things are just in my head. You've hijacked me. But they're going up against the this is a tag team champion match. So Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton have the straps right now. And the Steiner brothers going after the straps. And this is the Steiner brothers we were talking about last week, Steve. This fucking 90s vintage with that neon outfits and the crazy mullet and shit. I love it.
The dog face gremlin. And one of the things I love, man, they never matched. I feel like that would have made them douchey. Like that, even though they both have singlets, Scott would have one kind of design with different colors, and Rick would have something completely different.
Yeah,
that made it more 90s. I felt
he had like the chaos, like it looked like paint splatter outfit. But I'm a Steiner Brothers fanatic. We already discussed this last week, but so happy to see this version of him. And while we were talking about the physique of Scott Steiner being freakish like later in his career, this dude looks like a goddamn mule already in the early 90s. Like whatever he was doing, the shit's already showing now. This guy's huge as fuck.
Ridiculous regimen.
He's
Man.
kind of like a Superman-esque character though, because he like in this match. I mean, Arn Anderson's a beast. You know what I'm saying? His brother's a beast, but he just looks like some kind of. He looks like the Hulk coming in just to like clean up the garbage. Like there's nothing to do.
And that's a serious mullet too, man. MacGyver would be proud. And something I didn't know until watching this. Eric Bischoff is from Detroit. He calls that out, and because it's a Steiner Brothers match, he's wearing all of that Wolverine garb, which we all could have done without. But hey, you're Great Lakin. I appreciate that. He refers to the Steiners as the Joe Montana and Jerry Rice of wrestling, and I love Steiners, but that's a bit of a reach.
Yeah, making sports comparisons with fantastic Hall of Fame athlete. It's just tough. So maybe just avoid that, Eric. You're killing it in every other regard. So we'll forgive that. And one other thing, because it's going to come into play later, I just want to point out that right before this match gets underway, we go back to Missy Hyatt, and she's actually trying to interview Ricky the Dragon Steamboat previous to his match. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat has this guy called the Ninja, who's like his bodyguard. He's outside the door. And Missy, he's kind of giving her the business, but she actually sees inside. And I didn't know Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Steve, was into witchcraft and whatever, like summoning the devil, because he's doing some kind of crazy seance.
He's on that Carlos Serrano shit from Major League.
She sees sparks. She's like, "Oh my God, he's doing something! What is that?" And Missy Hyatt is not a great actress, Steve. So, no. But we know that that's there. But now we're back at this match, Steve, and as you said, the Dangerous Alliance. Paul Heyman's sort of like the guy, and he's been barred from the rings being ringside. This was all told to them like pre-match. So even before the action's going underway, he's getting pulled out, like he's getting arrested. So he can't be at ringside. And he's, fucking free Paul, Steve. This is fucking bullshit.
Free Paulie, man. And there were some cool spots in this match. There was a Steiner line. That was one of their signature moves. But Arn and Bobby Eaton, they do like a remix of the Doomsday Device where Arn hoists the guy up on his shoulders, and instead of giving a flying lariat, Bobby Eaton just gives him a crossbody, which was probably equally cool.
Yeah, it looked cool. We get a Frankensteiner. We get all the moves that you want to see, and I also have to say, I forgot that there was a move called the Steiner line. Great name. It sounds like a movie of some kind, but as when we get to the end of this match, shit's sort of going bad for Arn Anderson and Beautiful Bobby. So Arn calls for a little assistance in the way of a bag of powder, and he throws that into Rick Steiner's face, blinds Rick Steiner, gets him high as all shit because we know what was in that bag, and Rick Steiner inadvertently, because he's blinded and in a coke rage, suplexes a ref, which that sucks. They call in another ref, and I think this is where Scott Steiner hits the Frankensteiner. He gets the pin. Temporarily, the Steiner brothers are champions. They think they've won the match. As the other refs come in too, he's like, that guy fucking suplexed me. And as Jesse the Body keeps reminding us, you can't touch the ref, Steve. So that's an automatic disqualification. After the fact, the other ref DQs the Steiners. They're taking the titles away. It's a whole fucking thing. It's a whole fucking thing, Steve.
They learned how to break rules from Bo Schembechler. I love how he's shitting on Michigan throughout this match. Thank you, Jesse.
But fuck these refs, because there's a lot of instances where even Jesse's calling them out. They're giving slow counts. They're doing fugazi shit and missing shit. So shame on you, refs. Get it together, guy with the mustache who I can never remember his name, who looks like Mario. You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly. He's the main guy.
Yeah.
They're pretty selective, man. But the next match, we got Ravishing Rick Rude versus Ricky Steamboat with Mr. Ninja, air quotes, for the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship.
And again, Paul Lee, Rick Rude, they're in cahoots. They're in the Dangerous Alliance. Paul Lee can't come to, or what's he called in this? It's not Paul
Paulie
Lee.
Dangerously.
Is that what he's called? Okay.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman's his real name. So he can't come to the ring. So Rick Rude comes out. He's solo. He's going at it with the fucking fans. He's cutting the music. He's calling them fat pieces of shit. He's doing what you want.
After trying for about 5 minutes, and I don't like that. You don't cut that man off when he's on the mic because he's just like, what he wants to let the people know what he would like. God damn it! Come on, Milwaukee.
Turn the gain up on this mic real quick. But Steamboat comes out, and I got to agree again. I know Jesse the Body's supposed to be like the heel commentator, but he's making a lot of like cogent points. He's like, well, Ricky the Steamboat can come out with a ninja. Why can't Paul come out with fucking Rick Rude? This is some bullshit. But Ricky the Steamboat, he's got the ninja, the silent killer that's just sitting by the ringside the whole match. And I was waiting for the fire breathing, Steve, but we don't get that. I didn't know Ricky came out saying fire breathing.
Oh, that was a Vince gimmick. I got that copyright.
That was cool as fuck. I missed that. But love me some Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I don't know if you clocked this, and maybe you know more about this than I do, but you know, Rick Rude usually has like some customized, like airbrushed pantaloons.
I saw that. Yeah.
Did you notice there were geisha girls and like Asian lilies on the? I was like, this guy's customizing the gear for the pay-per-view. How fucking awesome is that?
Fucking very detail oriented, that Rick, man. I did catch that. Got the geishas, man. Rick didn't play.
Dude, Rick is a legend. Shout out to Rick Rude, dude. I'm gonna take a shot for this man later. I'm gonna do smoke a joint for him, but this guy, you know, he's not my favorite, but for whatever reason, I always loved him as a kid. And when I see him as an adult, it's even better, dude. He's just a great he's not even a villain in my book. He's just a mentor, really, role model.
He's just like the fuck hoes. And if it just happened to be yours, hey, she wasn't yours to begin with. She's for everybody.
You shouldn't be in this shitty town that I came to fuck any woman that wants it. And Rick's gonna get it one way or the other. You know, dogs gotta eat, Steve. But this match is good. I thought it was, you know, pretty decent. And at the end of the match, as it seems like the tides are turning and Ricky Steamboat's about to win this thing, the ninja, Steve, we don't know who's under there, but he pulls out a familiar brick cell phone in the guise of like a Zach Morris style cell phone and just belts Ricky Steamboat a couple times in the chops. And the first one doesn't hit hard, but the second one, I don't know what that phone's made out of, but that second one, Steve, he might have really brained dude.
That shit looked like granite, man, because he crunched him.
I mean, they broke the phone, but that shit looked... I think we all remember the weight of those brick phones. It's heavy duty shit, Steve. So Steamboat's probably in the hospital. God knows who the ninja is. I don't know who that was. It's not certainly not Paulie Dangerously. That's for goddamn sure. ...
And I like how Jim Ross says he's waddling like a little woman. When the ninja like tries to flee out of there.
But
you know,
the balls of Paul though. Or this gimmick that they're doing for this, he had to sit in he's literally just staring at the crowd the whole time in this big ass costume. And I love that. He was there for like 20 solid minutes, just like looking down at the ground, I was buying in, Steve. I didn't know what was going on.
He's dedicated to his craft, man. And, you know, now we have another interview. And Missy Hyatt, she's trying to talk to like the representatives of the Dangerous Alliance. She opens the door and she sees like all the guys there, and it's Paulie Heyman in the ninja suit without his mask. Oh,
Get out of here! Get out! It's like when somebody's mom walks in on them beating off. They're like, "Get out of here!"
It's like the end of a Scooby-Doo episode. I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for that darn meddling interviewer.
God damn it, Missy. You bitch. I'm not a big fan of Missy Hyatt, Steve. I'm sorry. She's persona non grata here.
I can tell.
I'm glad.
And the The main event, which wasn't really main event worthy. We love you, Sting, though. It's Sting versus Lex Luger with Harley Race and his poodle perm for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship.
But this is that Sting we want, Steve. We've been waiting for Surfer Sting, and this is full on Surfer. So he even has the fucking rat tail.
Yeah.
Which I love that. That's sexy.
I think it's popular opinion that this is the best version, man.
Yeah, dude. I had so many. I was so fucking into Sting back in the day. I had so many toys for fucking Surfer Sting. Remember the toys? I don't know if you remember these, but they were fully fixed position WCW toys that were like a hard plastic, where the guys were stuck in like positions like this, or like Arn Anderson was just like this. I'll have to find them, dude. They were just like fixed. They didn't have any posability. It was just like what you got. But I had a couple of Surfer Sting that was like the black and teal pants and shit with the Sting going down the side. I mean, I was a heavy Sting homer. I really was into him.
Same here, man. And what I think they're trying to do or replicate is the same dynamic that Hogan and Warrior had. Because Sting, he was always kind of looked at as like the Hogan of this franchise, and him and Lex Luger were best buds. They for the longest, Luger was a good guy, and now they're facing each other, but they're buddies. How do you?
Well, they have 2 minutes of conversation in the ring, jawing at each other before they even start even pushing each other. We don't know what they're saying, but it's just a whole like, hey, bro. Stop flexing the pecs, dude. And Lex is like, shut up, dude. Take that face. It's all bro talk. But eventually they get to it. But I've just, Lex Luger, he's another like Ahmed Johnson type where it's like, it's all there. You look the part of a wrestler. You look like a superhero. You're yoked as fuck. For me, Lex's face has always somehow looked ancient, even though even here, it's like 92. He's probably in his 20s. His face looks identical to what it probably looks like now. He's still alive. Maybe
he's still with us.
Okay, thank God. But I just never liked Lex Luger. He suplexed Yokozuna, or he did whatever with him. He lifted him. He's just strong and he's got a good physique. But I'm not into the wrestling.
It's called charisma, man. I feel like that's needed for people to care about you.
Whoop his ass, Sting. And Sting gets his, Steve. This is one thing that I did like, and this is a good Sting thing, but Lex tries to put him up in the torture rack like early on in the match. Sting slides out of that, knocks fucking Lex, and he tries to get him in the torture. He gets him in it, I think.
Yeah, he gets it on him for a minute, and then Lex flips that and he turned that into like a head toss, and that's probably the best spot or the only good spot of this match, despite us both loving Sting. Like,
yeah, it's just cool to see him like do the woo, do all that stuff. I mean, Sting had he had his like, what's the move called? This like sharpshooter, what's that called?
Scorpion Deathlock.
Scorpion Deathlock. I mean, we got everything. We got a couple of cross bodies into those like fucking Michael Jordan jumps into the corner, just doing like a body splash. And yeah, man, if I could go back in time and just tell Sting one thing, it's just like, stay with this. If you ever watch The Crow, just leave it there. You're good.
He had to, Matt. It's the evolution of the business, man.
I know, but man, it was good. That Surfer Sting, even in this, even with the Chud, fucking killing the game. And he even gives he gives Harley Race. He throws him on the ground somehow. He throws his old ass down.
Well, Harley tried to pile drive him while he was out on the apron, and he reverses that, knocks him down, and then gets on the top rope from the outside, does a flying crossbody on a Luger, and that gets the pin, the win, and the strap. Sting is the new champ.
Woo! I love the wooing, Steve. I know Ric Flair originated it, but Sting also. Hell of a wooer.
It's a different cat call.
Yeah, dude. Surfer Sting. Just the pride of WCW. He was just killing it. I think Sting is kind of why I originally was like into WCW at all.
Oh yeah, same for
Yeah.
sure. And then the Steiner brothers, really LOD and the Steiner brothers.
Yeah, for sure the Steiner brothers, because they are, like I said last week, if they were on there and you knew they were good, they kept it telling you they were coming. It's like, well, I got to see the Frankensteiner. I got to see
Yeah.
that shit.
What kind of neon outfits are they going to wear? And this is actually Lex Luger's last match with WCW before he would join the WBF, which was a Vince venture, one of his many ventures, where it was a World Bodybuilding Federation, and that didn't last long. So once that folded, he became the Narcissist. Obviously, Lex Luger would come back years later during the Attitude Era or around '95. But yeah, I remember asking my grandma if she could order the WBF pay-per-view, and looking back on it, it's like, pause. I have 40-year-old Steve has to tell 7-year-old Steve, pause. You do not want to see the World Bodybuilding Federation. There's no cool atomic leg drops. It's just guys in speedos.
Painted like painted with some kind of weird. That shit's so weird, Steve. And also,
Yeah.
weirdly enough, that's happening in Columbus where I live. There's something called the Arnold that's like the biggest.
Arnold.
It's happening,
Yeah.
I think, this weekend, or already did. And I contemplated going to it because of the weirdness of it. But yeah, a young you, there's no reason for you to be watching that at all.
Vince just had me sold. Like,
Damn.
you got a cereal? What else you got available? Like,
WBBF, here you go, kid. What's that guy doing? What is that?
you sell hot dogs? World Bodybuilding Federation hot dogs? Like, I'll scarf them down in front of my friends and won't think nothing of it.
World
Vince McMahon.
Bodybuilding Federation tanning lotion. You want to look like these guys with weird hot dog colored skin for no reason?
I'm already black, but fuck, Vince is selling it. Sure.
It smells like hot chocolate, so it's gonna be good for you, kid.
So
here's some banana slangs with WBBF on it. You can wear those while you pose in the mirror. Enjoy.
Mom,
that.
can I get the one that's autographed? But any callbacks, shout outs, or cold sores?
Shout out to the 90s Little Rascals movie that I watched last night, stoned. You know, it's a 90s kids movie, but I love that movie. Buckwheat and his little buddy that he's got. When he gets the pickle, it's like, I'll sell you a pickle for a nickel.
Yeah. And that's little Nicky. That's cousin Nicky from Fresh Prince that plays Buckwheat.
It is. He's cute as hell. That movie is great. And I never liked the Little Rascals, like as whatever the show was of like the black and white. But they made that perfect. They casted it well. It's ridiculous. You get a couple of great cameos. Reba plays some kind of weird professional go-kart racer, I believe. Or maybe she's a racer, but she comes to their go-kart thing. It's cool. So check that out.
The soapbox derby.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. But loved it. It was good. So watch Little Rascals and listen to what my boy Steve's about to say. Steve?
Something else that happened in 1992. I feel like 1992 was the only year where events happened on February 29th in the 90s. But NBC is airing this arc called Full Moon Over Miami. It's a one-off programming block of 3 different shows: the Golden Girls, Empty Nest, and Nurses. And I guess they were all located in Miami. I know Golden Girls for sure, and Empty Nest, they would share characters from time to time. I remember that. I just didn't care to watch the Nurses. I did watch the Empty Nest and the Golden Girls, which is like a 2-parter. Very interesting things that happen. Obviously, there's a full moon that comes down and shit just gets cray cray in a hilarious way in Miami. But that's all I got, man. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please tell your sister that we're the Planeteers. You can be one too, because saving our planet is the thing to do. Looting and polluting is not the way. Hear what Captain Planet has to say.
The power is yours.
Please check out our guy Clark the Shark at Podcastle, as well as Food Show Fanatics with Matt G and Kendra B. Kendra B on Crushgasm every Wednesday. And this is Steve G and Matt G with Happened in the 90s.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Ah.
By your powers combined, I am Captain Planet!